In geopolitics, positions evolve. Your interests of today are not your interests of tomorrow. Case in point, a recent joint statement by India and the Philippines. But first, some context. The Filipino foreign minister is in New Delhi. He held talks with S. Jaishankar on Thursday. Then they issued a joint statement. Let me quote from it and listen to this carefully. The ministers underlined the need for a peaceful settlement of disputes and for an adherence to international law, especially the UNCLOS and the 2016 Arbitral Award on the South China Sea. Again, some context. UNCLOS is the United Nations Convention on Laws of the Seas, UNCLOS. Basically, it sets maritime rules. In 2016, they ruled on Beijing's claims over the South China Sea. Now, if you ask China, 90% of the sea belongs to them. But the UN rejected that claim. It asked China to stop activities near Filipino waters. Now, in 2016, India's reaction was cautious, the usual stuff. We take note of the verdict, we support freedom of navigation, all parties must respect UNCLOS, very diplomatic and very careful. But you know what was missing? India's statement did not ask China to adhere to the verdict. Cut to 2023, the language has changed. New Delhi wants China to accept and implement the 2016 decision. There is no ambiguity anymore. So the question is, what has changed? Well, relations with China have nosedived since 2016. Both countries are locked in a border standoff. China is not interested in peaceful coexistence. So what should India do? Reach out to other countries in a similar situation. The ASEAN members fit the bill. 4 of them have maritime disputes with China. Plus, they're interested in Indian weapons. This week, India gifted an active duty warship to Vietnam. Talks are also underway for the BrahMos missile. The Philippines has already bought them. Delivery is expected to start by December. It's a really well-rounded relationship. India and Southeast Asia share cultural and historical ties. They have a similar colonial past. They have a free trade agreement in place, and now they also have a common rival, China. For New Delhi, this is uncharted waters, though. Yes, India has always called for a free and open Indo-Pacific, but South China Sea is the Western Pacific. It is not India's traditional sphere of influence. Though of late, India has been focusing more on this region. In the month of May, the Indian Navy held joint drills with ASEAN states. It was the first such Indian exercise with the bloc. The Navy chief was himself in Singapore to flag it off. Tells you how serious New Delhi is. America's top diplomat for East Asia was asked about India's role in this region, and he said he wants more India-US cooperation. He also sees India playing a greater role in the South China Sea. But what's in it for New Delhi? Well, for starters, it keeps China occupied, sort of like a second front other than the Himalayas. And secondly, opportunities. We keep talking about looking and acting east, but the true potential is still untapped. India is only the 8th biggest trading partner for ASEAN. China is the biggest, and this could be a chance to improve that. After all, both sides find themselves in the same equation. Their trade with China keeps growing, but their relations with China keep deteriorating. So maybe it's time to write a new equation, one without China. Also, the defense deals. Southeast Asia is spending $43 billion on defense. American weapons are too expensive for them. Russia is too busy. China is their adversary. So what options do they have? A handful of countries, including India and South Korea. And both these countries, India and South Korea, are making efficient and affordable arms. Politically, this is a big shift for India. It's not reacting to China's power games. It is taking the power games to China. Cheers. We saw evidence of this last week in the United States. Prime Minister Modi talked about coercion in the Indo-Pacific. It was a clear reference to China. And now India is openly backing the Philippines against Beijing. These are signs of a more assertive policy. It doesn't yet make India a major power in the Western Pacific, but it certainly signals that intent.